Hi guys, this is Peachy and welcome to my channel. Here I'm gonna explain how to do this eye in a semi-realistic art style. First you open a layer and start sketching. I use a brush that has a pencil-like texture, but you can use any brush you like. The eye I'm drawing is Asian, and Asian eyes are usually big and round with sharp corners. To draw the eyebrows, first there is silhouette. In the next steps, we'll draw the eyebrow hairs one by one. Don't be too sensitive when drawing the eyelashes. Draw the eyelashes only as a guide. Then I use the liquify tool and try to make the eye look more like our reference. It's much better now. Now we'll do our coloring on a new layer. I usually do the initial coloring and shading with black and white because this way I can focus more on the shadows rather than the colors. For the base color, I choose a gray color and erase the color inside the eye and reduce the opacity of the sketch layer. Then I start shading with a soft airbrush in a new layer. I usually don't do any line art because I want my drawing to be semi-realistic, but you can do line art if you want to go more fantasy way. We make the brush bigger for shading and smaller for details. You can use a texture brush, but I like my soft airbrush better, and I just put a texture paper on all over my drawing. I darken the area around the eyes, the eyelids, upper eyelids and lower eyelids, and I apply eyeliner, but I don't draw the eyelashes. And now I draw the eyebrow hairs one by one. I draw one hair from the up and one hair from the bottom, so it should look like you're drawing a feather. Then here, to make it look more like a natural eyebrow, I choose a brush from smudge tool, and the brush name is membrane, if I'm not wrong. We're gonna blur the edges of I think the eyebrow is a little thin, so I use the liquify tool to make it a little thicker and more like a reference. Now I apply more shadows under the eye, like a reference of course, and at the end of the eyelid, and just smudge it with a smudge tool. And the brush I'm using in smudge tool is the same brush I'm drawing the shadows with. Now I put some shadings inside the eye, because our eyeball is a sphere, is a ball, and the outer corners are a little darker. Now I put shadow between the eye and nose bridge and at the end of the eye. I like my drawing to be clean, so I use a smudge tool very often and just as much every shadow I draw. I like my eyes to be a little tired, so I put some eye bags, like dark eye bags under the eye to just make them a little tired. It's just my art style, and I cannot do that if you don't want to. Now we open a new layer, and with a white color we start putting our highlights, and in upper eyelid I put some highlight, under the eye where it's puffy, and in the corner of the eye I put the highlights just like a reference. And I apply more highlights on outer corner of the eye, and I just like it this way, and some on the eyelid, inner eyelid. And after you apply the highlights, don't forget to smudge them as well. Now I merge all the black and white layers except the sketch. Then use the gradient map option to change the color of the values and shadows. create your own skin color palette and then select the colors from the palette in the gradient map section. The color palette I created for fair skin and pale skin has a bit of pink undertone, but Asians tend to have a yellow skin, so I shift all the colors toward orange. And you can just play with the colors, so it looks more to your liking. I had darkened the outer corner of my eye, but I'm going to lighten it to make it better because it's Asian eyes and Asian eyes are puffy. Now in a separate layer, and it's a new layer, I start to make more details. Now I draw the eyeliner, I darken the eyelids. I prefer to use a dark brown for this detailing. I don't really like to use black. Now I start drawing the eyebrows with an eyebrow brush. It's a brush that has two lines. When you draw a line, it appears like you draw two lines, and just make it your process faster. But you can use any brush you like, it's optional. After you draw the eyebrow hairs, use a membrane brush and a smudge tool, and I think it's in abstract section, to blur the tip of the eyebrow hairs so it appears more natural. Now the initial coloring and shading is done. The human skin has a bit of red tint and it's more vibrant in color. So I create a clipping mask layer and put it on the overlay mode and reduce its opacity. And I choose a pink color, a vibrant color and a vibrant orange, and apply a little bit on the skin to make it more alive. Now you open the layer below everything and just use a blue grayish color for inside of the eyeball. Now I open a new layer and use a muted brown color. I use a brush that has sharp edges to draw the iris. And I open a new layer above the skin. I draw a black strip and blur the edges because the shadow of the eyelashes fall on the eye. And then I use the drawing guide option for inside the iris. I choose the symmetry tool and I click on the option and use radial, I think. Now I open a layer and put it on clipping mask so that everything I'm drawing is just drawn on the iris, not on the other parts. Drawing the iris is optional and depends on your style. I just like it, like to draw it this way. It's just more easier and cleaner. The eye I'm drawing has black pupil and black iris, but if I just draw a black iris, it just looks so simple. So I'm using some vibrant color to make it more fantasy. It's semi-realistic. I'm not trying to make it no hyper-realistic. And the iris is done. Now on a new layer, I create more highlights on the skin with light blue and light green. For example, I make the corner of the eye a little blue and put some blue and green on the puffy areas. Now make another clipping mask, and the pink color I color the eyelids. Then I choose a crimson color and just make the eyelid darker, because apparently our reference has makeup. Now on a separate layer, which is again clipping mask, under the highlights of course, I choose a light crimson and just make the shadows darker. Now in a new layer, I draw the eyelashes. I use the same brush I used to sketch them. First I draw the long eyelashes as a guide. Then I draw the thinner eyelashes next to them. And then I draw the bottom lashes in the same way. But the bottom lashes are a little bit shorter and thinner than the upper eyelashes. Then with the same brush, I'm gonna darken the under the eyelid, so it's like it has the eyeliner, or the model use a pencil and draw under her eye as makeup. Now it's my favorite part. Above all the layer, we open a layer and use the light brush, and it's a portrait brush, I think. In the luminance section, we use that for drawing the highlights with a white color. And I draw some highlights on the areas that are puffy again in the corner of the eye, inner corner and outer corner, and in the white area of our eyeball I put some highlight, in the pupil I put some highlight, and I put some highlight on the eyelid and under the eyelid. And I don't know, I like to put so much highlight on my art. It looks so cute. Then with a pink color and again the light brush, I line the inside of the lower lashes, so it looks more fantasy. And for the final step, I use a star stamp for the inside of the eye to make it cuter. And we add a little white glitter under the eye and above the eye, and I use some gold glitter for the iris, so it just look more sparkly. And here is the final work. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.